And believe it or not,
Until
that gentleman just said, oh, huyu ni mtoto wako. Oh, fine. He gave me credit of 100,000 worth of goods.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
My stock was born, my shop was born. I realized my taste.
Hey everybody, my name is Angie Murenga. You're watching Just Angie. It's Lifestyle Thursday. It's also the first day of July, so happy new month. We're in the 7th month now. This is amazing. We thank God for keeping us, for blessing us, and for being with us. Today I have a guest who I've known for a very, very long time. Laiza Kariuki.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
My honor.
I've been really looking forward to this conversation for a long time because I know there's so many things I want to tackle, and in the 4 weeks that we have, the series that we have, I've got so much to ask of you. First, tell us who you are then. You say you don't like introducing yourself, but we have to do is Liza.
No, of course I have to introduce myself to the world. My name is Laiza Kariuki, a mother of 5, an interior designer. I own Window Trends Limited, which is an interior design house. Yeah, in a nutshell.
I love it. And then, as a mother of 5, we'll get there because that's a story that has fascinated me today. But let's go on to first. How did Window Trends begin?
Wow. So Window Trends was not even a thought out process. So let me just say I stumbled into Window Trends. So my background was in interiors. I worked for 2 interior design firms, Design Corporate and Flooring and Interiors. And I like mentioning them because I feel they molded me and sort of shaped my eye into the interior design world.
Okay.
When I started off, I didn't even know what was that. Is there a course called interior design? I asked my boss that. And so when I look back at my years there and just learning the nitty-gritties, how to take measurements. Measurements are very key in this sort of work. And I learned it all there. So fast forward to 2009, here I am, I've gotten my second born. At that point, I was working in hotel. I was at Mvuli, where I met you.
We met at Mvuli House, yeah?
Yes, where I met you. We met nicely there. We sort of knew each other from church, but I guess that was our one-on-one because we did lots of stuff every week. So I was home on maternity, and at that point we'd made a decision. I'd left formal employment, and I have this baby, and it's sort of, what do I want to do with myself? And you think of all businesses, I didn't know, and everybody goes back to what they were trained. I trained in accounts. I didn't see any accountant in me, so here I am. What do I do? So one day, I take my daughter for a salon next door. So basically just take it a walk. She was about 5 and would go, and there's this friend of mine who would open bales. And
open bales of what?
Of curtains.
Of curtains.
Of curtains.
Because Window Trends, we forgot to say, is a curtain.
Sorry, so Window Trends is an interior design house with a bias for fabric. So we just like to call ourselves fabric gurus. And so everything we do is an eye for fabric. We've studied fabric, just know how they behave in different textures, different environments. So we're all about fabric. For now, and this year now, we are still launching. We are going into furniture, and we've gone into cleaning.
Amazing.
So that particular time, I remember just wondering, what is this? This fabric in second hand, and I guess curiosity began. And so I think at this point, I just want to say, Peter had been asking me. Peter is my husband, and he had been asking me about, what's your passion? What's your passion? Every day. What's your passion? And I didn't know how to answer that question. But then let me connect with this. I see these fabrics, and something like sort of wakes up, and I'd go every day to this space to see the fabrics.
To see her opening up her bales.
Just to see, curtains. Just to admire. I just stayed in this environment.
Touch,
just fascinate. But then there was one disconnection. While she had the fabrics, she had a challenge on how to translate them into spaces. Now that's where measurements comes in, that's where fitting comes in, and I remember now we hang in there, and at one point now, quick progression, I'm already hanging out in this space, I'm already helping her. I love helping people, so I'm helping her now take stuff out. I've already told other people I do curtains. And one time in church, in the boot of my car, I'm holding out a curtain. Someone is checking a kitchen curtain, and the admin in church comes. It's like, oh, Liza, you do curtains? I didn't know. And I say, and I didn't know. Do I say yes? Do I say no? Because now that I'm not so sure which is the lie. So I said, oh yeah, I do. She's like, just the person I needed to see. Oh. And so what was up? They have this house which they need done in their absence. They're going to Mombasa for a week starting that day. They're coming back the following week, and occupants need to be in. So you're being left unsupervised with a project
of curtains.
And so let's just say that is in, I think, either November of 2011, and that was my first project.
Wow.
And long story short, when I got my check of 70,000, I was like, oh, well, the bulbs were on.
This is it.
So this can be work. And so let's just say from 2011, no turning back, and Window Trends was born.
Wow. How did you transition, although we don't have a lot of time, but how did you transition from now, because this lady was the one who had the curtains, so she had the hookup for the curtains.
Yeah.
How did you follow her sources? How did you now source these curtains?
So when I was implementing this, so this is the first project. I'm getting to express myself, my style. Remember, I'm learning now sort of on the job. I have this technical part, but I don't have the source. And then I realize there's a style I want that's not represented here. I kind of have a different taste, because now remember, this is now my project. Yeah. I need to translate, and I begin to wonder, okay, this doesn't cut it, this doesn't cut it. So what that led to, we went with her to basically single source for that particular project. Okay. And at that point, I realized my taste was different. So just so we get to the part where I got to flange, my mom has been in second-hand business for a long time. And I told her, okay, I'm interested in this, but I'd like to get my own supplier. And so one time she's like, fine, we went to Gikomba, and her supplier introduced her to a cousin who's also a supplier. And believe it or not, until that gentleman just said, oh, huyu ni mtoto wako. Oh, fine. He gave me credit of 100,000 worth of goods. Yeah, that's amazing. My stock was born, my shop was born. I realized my taste, and I realized people like my taste.
But it's amazing, because from that I learned relationships. Yeah. So mom has a relationship, who has a hookup, who has a hookup, who has a hookup. Then the hookup says, this is your child, and they extend you credit. Because you did not have the money to buy. So when you went and sold the curtains, you then came back and paid him.
Yes, he's remained my supplier to date.
Yeah, that's what you told me. You told me he's still your supplier.
He's still my supplier to date.
10 years going.
10 years later, and it amazes me just how trust goes a long way in business, because we've traded lots of money. And I think for me, just when you say the relation, we cannot underestimate that. It's carried me to where I am all round. I'm really a relationship child.
Because even when you come into our homes, I've always said, you get invited into the most intimate spaces. You get invited right into my home, You have access. So there's a way that you have to be. You always... I remember my first project with you, and I said, okay, Liza, come do these curtains.
It was in 2011 also, by the way.
It was, I can't remember. It was amazing. And then we also did another round, because that's also now maybe to come back next week and talk about, because the first time we did the second-hand curtains, then the second time we did new curtains. Yeah. So the business has progressed, which I love as well. Yeah. But like we said, I think this one is about relationships. Relationships are everything.
They are it, and I think just also to translate quickly and say, this was, so unknown to me, this taught me a certain style. This is English style curtains, what we get from secondhand. And so by the time now I graduated and I was able to source new rolls of fabric, I had totally refined my taste. I had totally refined the kind of fabric I want. Because these fabrics come from everywhere. Now, we don't have them in our markets. We don't have them on Biashara Street if you walk. But now I knew what kind of fabric. So we really ended up now like dealing with kind of a bit a certain kind of fabric. It tends to be a bit high-end. We got to learn thread count. But all my training was here. Even the stitching styles, they taught me what is out there even before I'd gone out there.
Now the Gikomba?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, because I already made curtains. And they're stitched a certain way. Now, our stitching standard here in Kenya are their work. But we've had to push our stitching standards. To date, I say our biggest asset as work is the stitching. You can buy fabric from anywhere, but whoever translates them for you matters, because that's what you end up having. So we've invested a lot in what we stitch and how we do it.
Wow. Well done. I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited.
Thank
I hope you are.
you.
See you
Thank
next
you.
Thursday as we continue this conversation. God bless.